Good afternoon, mailplussers. I hope you enjoyed your bank holiday weekend and are ready for some Tuesday afternoon trivia. I'm your host, Melissa Hartzell, and welcome to today's mailplus Trivia Live, where I'm very excited to bring you each weekday, giving you the chance to win up to £1,000. What better way is there to spend your afternoon than possibly pocketing some cash? All it takes is a few minutes to answer 10 questions correctly, and you could be the winner of a very healthy prize. A reminder of the rules: it's 10 multiple choice questions from a smorgasbord variety of categories, 10 seconds to answer each one, and if you answer all 10 correctly, you win a share of that £1,000. But just a warning, when you tap the answer, there's no changing it. 10 seconds goes by very fast, so you better be quick. Just one tap and no going back, no regrets. If you miss question 1, your chances of winning the prize will be over before they've even begun, so don't be late. If you get one wrong along the way, you won't be able to win the money, but you can stick around and play for fun. You might well learn some interesting facts to dazzle your friends with along the way. So, all focused? With a lunchtime refreshment just a small stretch away? Let's kick things off with question 1. What name is given to a first-year student at an American college? Sophomore, freshman, or junior? Although in the UK we don't call the students in their first year of university by the same name, we do have a week of grace which shares a similar name, that being Freshers' Week. The answer is freshman. It is in this year that the freshmen might be subject to hazing, more commonly referred to in this country as an initiation, and in South Africa as ragging, in which they're put to the test with a series of drills ranging from basic fitness and endurance to the outright absurd, like playing a game of rugby with a frozen chicken instead of a ball. Not personally my cup of tea, but moving swiftly on, here's question 2. If you added 2 sides to a dodecagon, what do you get? Tridecagon, pentadecagon, tetradecagon. A dodecagon that you might recognise if you're old enough is the old British threepenny, or threepenny bit as it was also known. Ceased to be a legal tender in 1971. However, the Royal Mint, clearly missing the 12-sided shape so much, used it to design the new £1 coin. Add 2 sides to make 14, and you have a tetradecagon. The geometry whizzes amongst you will also know that a shape with 15 sides is a pentadecagon, and a 1 billion-sided shape is a gigagon. Although by that point, I think it's probably just easier to call it a circle. And well done to 45% of you for getting the first 2 right. Peter 16, David 29, and Laura 25, all starting as you mean to go on, as we move on to question 3. In which country is the balalaika a traditional musical instrument? Spain, Russia, or Greece? The word balalaika almost sounds like an entire song in itself. It's a distinctive string instrument with a very triangular hollow body that looks like a close Russian ancestor of the guitar. Although it's an ancient, very hard to learn 3-stringed instrument originating in the late 1600s, it was used in the original music throughout Wes Anderson's film The Grand Budapest Hotel, which won an Oscar for its soundtrack, employing an orchestra of balalaika players 50 people strong to give the film a Russian folk song feel. Well done to you if you know your Russian instruments. 75% of you getting that right and breezing through to question 4. What word for a trusted right-hand man comes from the Old English word for a servant or groom? Acolyte, henchman, or crony? And just to reiterate, that's a trusted right-hand man as opposed to a right-handed man. The word originating from the loyal employee, often walking next to their master as they rode on horseback. It's henchman, the first part hench deriving from the Old English hengest, meaning horse. A crony is a slang term often associated with the mafia, and an acolyte is the name given to someone who helps out a member of the clergy with things like lighting candles. Someone's got to do it. And congratulations to 58% of you getting that right. Remember, if you do get an answer wrong, you can still play along for fun. So let's move on to question 5. Which day is the day before St. Stephen's Day? Christmas Day, New Year's Eve, or Shrove Tuesday? The tower that houses Big Ben was often referred to as St. Stephen's Tower by Victorian journalists. They actually referred to anything to do with the House of Commons as news from St. Stephen's, as MPs originally used to sit in St. Stephen's Hall. The feast day of St. Stephen, however, is traditionally the day for cold turkey sandwiches and digging around in the chocolate tin, trying to find the good ones that are now buried amongst the wrappers. Well, that's my description of Boxing Day, which means the day before is Christmas Day. St. Stephen was considered to be the first martyr of Christianity after his final words were a prayer of forgiveness for his attackers, an event that was depicted in an oil painting by Rembrandt in 1625. And well done to 85% of you breezing through that one, and ouch to the 6% that chose New Year's Eve and 9% that chose Shrove Tuesday. Well done to Luna, Delco and Pauline Zero, all very much in the game and playing for that £1,000 prize. And well done to all of you if you're moving on with them. Here's question 6. In which castle did the investiture of the Prince of Wales take place in July 1969? Conwy, Caernarfon or Harlech? In the 10 weeks leading up to his investiture, Prince Charles spent this time learning about Welsh culture, the history of the country and the language so that he could reply in both English and Welsh, an admirable undertaking if the road signs I've seen are anything to go by. It took place in Caernarfon Castle in the northeast of Wales. King Edward I was responsible for the incredibly expensive build back in 1282, drafting in hundreds of craftsmen from London and the timber from Liverpool. It cost £22,000 and took 5 years, which, believe it or not, was extremely expensive and a very fast turnaround for the 1200s. And 359 of you knowing that answer, well done to 95% of you, all moving on to question 7. Which of these Beatles songs first appeared on the Abbey Road album? Yesterday, Come Together, or Yellow Submarine? One of the most famous album covers of all time, not only does it feature the Beatles' shortest song ever of only 23 seconds called Her Majesty, it also includes Something, labelled by Frank Sinatra as the greatest love song of the past 50 years. Come Together made its debut on the album, although it drew the band into a lawsuit after Chuck Berry accused them of plagiarising his song You Can't Catch Me. John Lennon, the writer of the song, was sued successfully by Berry's music publisher for using the same lyrics, Here Come Old Flat Top, for an undisclosed amount. Only 3 more questions to go. Can you make it past question 8? Let's find out. Which of these actresses has not played Elizabeth II in a film? Freya Wilson, Samantha Bond, or Vanessa Kirby? Samantha Bond, who you might recognise from playing Miss Moneypenny in the James Bond films during the Pierce Brosnan years, played Queen Elizabeth II in the film The Queen. Freya Wilson did portray the Queen, but a much younger version in Princess Elizabeth for the Oscar-winning film The King's Speech. Which leads us to our answer, Vanessa Kirby, who, although is a regular in the show The Crown, about Queen Elizabeth II, has never portrayed the Queen, playing Princess Margaret instead. Not many questions left. We're getting on to the final 2, and well done to 81 of you getting that one right. Delco, Reginald and Ryan 9, you're doing so well. Let's see how much you've got left in the tank. Here's question 9. Which of these operas was not written by Puccini? Tosca, Edgar, or Fidelio? Giacomo Puccini was the 6th of 9 children, and the Puccini family was said to be a long-reigning Italian music dynasty, having consistently occupied the title of Maestro di Cappella, or Master of the Choir, at their local cathedral for 124 years. Fidelio is the only opera of the 3 that Puccini did not write, being composed by the quite well-known musician you may or may not have heard of, Ludwig van Beethoven. It was his only opera, first premiering in 1805. And we've reached the final question. 60% of you still playing for the £1,000 prize. That's 49 of you still in. Who will be our Tuesday winner? Let's play the final question. Question 10. The director of season 2 of 40 Towers also directed which film? Johnny English, Spice World, or Absolutely Fabulous the movie? an eclectic mix of light-hearted British comedies, the director had a long-running career directing some of Britain's most loved comedies, from A Bit of Fry and Laurie to Are You Being Served to French and Saunders. Although Bob Spears directed the TV series Absolutely Fabulous, he did not direct the movie. He did, however, direct Spice World in 1997, with a slightly below average score of 3.5 out of 10 on the Internet Movie Database. And it did include a huge amount of cameos from the likes of Sir Roger Moore to Sir Stephen Fry, who was quoted as saying he took a role in this movie because it allowed him to get autographed posters of the Spice Girls for his nephews, which he claimed was like 10 Christmases for them. So there we have it. Hopefully we've spiced up your day a bit. We've been through thick and thin. And there are 35 winners today who got through unscathed. Congratulations to D27, Delco, Tokel, Richard 5, and to all of you who knocked it out the park. You've now got some extra pocket money and you've earned a lot of respect. We've had a great array of topics, and it only ever takes one to set the whole game off balance. So if you are leaving empty-handed, do tune in tomorrow to see if the next set of questions are more in line with your tastes, because they could be exactly what you're looking for, and you could be the winner of our cash prize. And remember, there's a chance to win every weekday, so better luck next time and bring your thinking cap. We'll see you all tomorrow for another chance to win £1,000 on MailPlus Trivia Live. Bye for now.